everyone. This is my response to The Medium is the Massage by McLuhan. My first reaction to the video was actually what the meaning of the medium of the massage is, which is the way that we send and receive information is more important than the information itself. I absolutely agree with that statement. I think a lot of us can agree with that statement. I mean, since we were kids, a lot of us were told and taught, like, hey, you want someone to be nice to you, be nice to them. If you don't want someone to, do that to you, don't do that to them. And then, like, I can go to the doctor's office and I want them to tell me the information, like, of bad news, in a nice, calming way that's not going to make me panic, and I don't want someone to tell me that, oh, you have cancer. I want them to come in and be like, oh, hey, by the way, your results came back. Let's talk about them. And that way we're not just all in a, frenzy of how we received that information. So I completely agree with that statement. The next one I really thought was interesting was that we are no longer just consumers, but also producers. We definitely are. Our phones do pretty much anything nowadays. You can pick it up and you can write music, record videos, draw, play games, animation, illustrate. It's amazing. And I just think it's continuously growing, write stories and all that fun stuff. And it's constantly growing. And I think that is something I completely agree with. The next one was, our memory spans have reduced due to technology. Yes, I also have to agree with that one. I remember using different stuff in school growing up, and now I can do everything on my phone. And if I ever have to resort back to the old ways, I have to remember how to do it. It's kind of interesting too. I was showing my 5-year-old son for the first time how to use a computer mouse, and it baffled me how hard it was for him to use. But I'm like, he never ever has to use one because he's always able to touch with his fingers. And I think technology has really limited some of our abilities on things we used to do back then versus now. Like, calculators are at our fingertips, or dictionaries are at our fingertips. We don't have to store all that information up there like we used to. I think that also impacts some of our critical thinking, kind of like our readings have discussed in our chapter 1 and 2 of our book that we're reading. And I actually kind of think that's a shame. I think critical thinking is so important nowadays that we should be able to not just follow what every society thinks us to do. We should be able to think for ourselves and do for ourselves. So I do think that one was an interesting statement in itself. The next one was, it is impossible to understand social and cultural changes without a knowledge of the working of media. I don't think that's 100% true. I don't think anything's impossible. I mean, human and mankind have survived this long. I can't imagine if we didn't know some social and cultural changes without media where we'd be today. So I'd like to know everyone's thoughts on that one. What you think, how that affects us and culture. And of course, it's not possible in my opinion. And this next one, I don't know if I understand all of it completely, but I think it's just interesting itself. Like, electrical information devices for universal tyrannical womb-to-tomb surveillances are causing a very serious dilemma between our claim to privacy and the community's need to know. I do understand that privacy is being totally violated on the internet all the time. I think anybody who uses the internet should definitely know, all the terms and policies. And even then, we definitely get, sideswiped or tiny prints that we didn't read that affect us and impact our privacy and our communication and our need to know. I think that's definitely something that is constantly a womb to tomb type of problem. And I may be saying that wrong. So if anybody has information on how I could better understand that, I would like to know. I do actually remember the Snowden incident growing up, and there were lots of opinions on that. So I found that was an interesting one. This next one big gossip column that is unforgetting, unforgettable, or ungrateful, and from which there is no redemption. Absolutely true too. I mean, posts you stick out there, you're gotta know someone's not gonna like it. Some people are gonna have an opinion, and some people that you don't want to hear it will hear it and see it, and that can in fact impact your relationship, your job, your friends, communications with you, all kinds of things. So you have to be super careful, tread lightly on what you put on the internet nowadays. I can't even imagine how some people back then didn't think about that. But we learn from our mistakes, I will say that. And it definitely puts me on the caution side when I use social media. So I think that was some good information, and I was very excited to share my opinion. I look forward to hearing everyone else's and learning new insights. Thank you.